short introduction and then name. And do we need to check? I think it's okay. Yeah, that's good. I was going to say, is that because it's right or wrong?
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Claudia Mora. As Dean of the Jackson School of Geosciences, I'm honored to welcome you to the Spring 2021 graduation. The Jackson School community, its faculty, research scientists, and staff takes great pleasure in welcoming you to today's event. While we have started to emerge from many restrictions of the pandemic, I recognize that this event, with me standing here on stage and the graduates lined up just outside, is not what you envisioned for your son's or daughter's graduation. But masking and social distancing cannot diminish the importance of today to our graduates, the class of 2021. Over the past year and a quarter, they've shown remarkable resilience, ambition, strength, and flexibility in pushing towards their educational goals. They never quit, despite many unexpected challenges and bumps in the road. They paved their own path to this milestone. Last February, the social constraints of COVID were exacerbated by the physical challenge of snowvid, but our students weren't alone in their efforts. Your love and support have been immeasurably important to our graduates. You have no doubt fielded many calls this year that were much more emotionally charged than usual. We all expect the call, "Hey Mom, I may need a little bit more money this month," but we don't expect to hear, "I don't know exactly where I could get some water to drink." The students have achieved this milestone today not only through true grit, but because of your love and support and your constancy in their lives. Thank you for being present for your children. Now I would like to recognize Jackson School people whose expertise, energy, and dedication inspire our students to rise to remarkable achievement. The faculty and research scientists of the Jackson School of Geosciences have dedicated their lives to creating an environment of intellectual stimulation and challenge that seeds student curiosity and helps grow their minds and expertise. I also recognize the staff of the Jackson School who keep this massive engine on the rails. They manage student finances, maintain research grants and records, provide academic advising, career counseling, and much more year in and year out for each student. Above all of us in the Jackson School believe in our students, in their right to a good education, and in their ability to succeed. To the Jackson School class of 2021, your graduation culminates one of the most significant stages in your lives. Your university years have been a time of focused learning, of tremendous personal growth, and of meeting and forming friendships with people whose influence will last your entire life. In the years ahead, you will often think with fondness of your college years. You will remember the professors who have taught and advised you, the readings and research that challenged you, the solidarity you felt with your peers after many hot weeks in the field. You will remember the non-academic experiences as well. Your first football or basketball game, the student march on the mall, the loves you may have found or lost and found anew, the first time you went to a bar with a legal ID. And you have the shared experience of the pandemic, a time unlike any for you, for faculty and staff, and for the nation. We have all learned so much about our ability to prevail under difficult circumstances. We learned so much about the value of people in our lives. There's another group of people you will now appreciate as an alumnus of the University of Texas at Austin. While you were in school, the alumni stood proudly in support of you, and I know that every one of you received some level of monetary support from alumni donations. Our alumni are deeply proud of their school and of the students we teach. Because of this university, you will carry throughout life a special recognition. You are a Longhorn. You are part of a distinctive family. Longhorns are known for their high quality of their education, their many talents and skills. Graduates of the Jackson School of Geosciences are likewise perceived by their peers to be well-trained, confident, and competent at all they take on. People will see those distinctions in you, and this connection may help you many times over in your life. Your alma mater, the University of Texas at Austin, is better off because you have been here as a student. The Jackson School celebrates your achievements, and like all your family members, we eagerly await news of your adventures and successes in the days ahead. Your classes may be over, but we will always be part of your geoscience family. So don't forget to phone home. At this time, I'd like to introduce our student speaker, Mr. Evan Ramos. Evan is an accomplished graduate student at the Jackson School on the cusp of receiving his PhD. Evan joined us at UT after completing his bachelor's degree in geology and planetary science at Boston University, and he completed his MS here in 2017. Evan's research has incorporated stable isotope geochemistry as a tool to understand the impacts and importance of fluid-rock interaction across many Earth environments and across geological time. He was awarded the 2018 Outstanding Teaching Assistant Award, has been a mentor for students from underrepresented groups, and was president of the Graduate Student Association in the Jackson School. In short, Evan is a shining example of the high-quality students we have at the Jackson School, and we are delighted that he will speak here today.
Dear friends, family, members of the faculty and staff, and my fellow graduates, it is an immense honor to be speaking on behalf of not one, but two graduating classes today. As I stand here addressing this sparsely occupied auditorium while wearing this bizarre outfit, I realize that this is not too far off from the countless hours I've spent talking in my pajamas to name-filled squares on Zoom while being met with absolute silence. For those of you who don't know what Zoom is, it's basically this platform that allows you to look at yourself while you talk to other people virtually. You may have had one of those extremely fun virtual happy hours using it. Of all the things that I've learned during the past year and a half, two things stand above the rest. First and foremost, my cat is so incredibly needy, and I have no idea how she's going to fare when I begin spending more time away from home next year. Second, and most importantly, humans, in the face of existential change, will do their best to adapt, and are fairly good at it too. For many of us, bringing the workplace into the home was not a seamless transition. It certainly wasn't for me. A pandemic that is bringing about excess death, familial strife, and social isolation. A period of sustained societal upheaval during the Black Lives Matter protests. A psychically defeating winter storm which left us without power, water, and any sense of relief. Amid these events and other matters, we have been burdened with the task of finding normality when the idea of normality is firmly in question. For some, focusing on assignments, continuing research, adjusting to remote teaching, involving oneself in outreach, and just leaning into the work were ways of coping with the onslaught of everyday life. For most, I imagine, finding ways of nourishing the self, spending time with your closest friends and family, and developing hobbies, new and old, came more naturally. These hobbies may or may not have included doing yoga, going on long walks around your neighborhood, baking, listening to new podcasts, or, in my case, checking the mailbox every day right around 2 p.m. It was never intentional, but now it's my calling. I'm really good at it. Just ask my roommates. At any rate, in my time as a Jackson School student, especially recently as I've connected with my student peers and faculty through Zoom, and increasingly more so in person, I'm convinced that we are all just doing the best we can, and that is often enough. That cannot go unnoticed. I would be, oh wait, here am I? Oh yeah, here we are. Your participation here today, fellow graduates, is a testament to your resilience that you all are enough. That cannot go unnoticed. I would be remiss, however, if I said that this arduous stretch of time was the only time that your resilience was tested. Starting school here alone is a challenge. It likely involved moving to a city where perhaps you knew very few people, being away from your support network, and having that creeping suspicion that maybe you had no idea what you were doing, but that you had heard that Austin kept things weird, and that you thought that was cool. If you were not a native Texan, it also meant acclimating to the jarring juxtaposition of 100-degree weather and overly air-conditioned buildings in the summer. But for all of us, enrolling in UT and working toward a degree as a Jackson School student was no cakewalk. The geosciences involve a unique combination of observational and quantitative skills, often forcing us to think about systems on nearly all length and time scales, and to consider the interaction of seemingly disparate components of our planet, the life that occupies it, and other planetary bodies. We were trained in classrooms, in laboratories, and in the outdoors, often by leading thinkers, researchers in their respective fields, and among diligent, well-rounded, and intelligent peers. Few other degree programs have this level of breadth, and to complete a degree here at any level suggests you have a seriously impressive head on your shoulders. The skill sets you've developed here, whether you continue in your education or enter the workforce, will come in handy. We face a smattering of societal challenges that we are uniquely equipped to address: climate and ecosystem change, environmental hazard mitigation, sustainable water usage, sustainable energy and resource extraction, and the sustenance of a diverse and equitable scientific community are all gargantuan challenges. And although I have no clue if we can resolve them, I know we cannot do it alone. Geosciences needs to be a big tent discipline, or it'll go the way of the dodo. If you decide to pursue a career outside of the geosciences, say as a professional mailbox checker for the elderly, your appreciation and advocacy of science will keep the legitimacy of these pursuits alive. A degree here will pay dividends somehow for you and for us all. Being a student here has been a privilege, and I owe it largely to the goodness of my peers and mentors and the strong sense of community that it begat. Last weekend, I drove with a friend to visit our friends in Houston and to check out some apartments, thinking about the countless Jackson School alumni who've made the same trek down 71 past Haruscas toward I-10, feeling that pit of melancholy that comes with imminent change. Many of us at this juncture are thinking of all the other names that belong on our diplomas: our family members who've supported us with love and with beer money, our friends who've tolerated us at our most intolerable, our mentors who've given us a chance even though our undergraduate theses were likely trash. They do belong on there, but you did the work, and you deserve to relish in this moment. You, like me, might have the slightest idea of what's ahead of you, but I'm certain you'll carve a path and foster a community simply by being. You've done it already. And if you're also like me, you'll have a needy pet with you as you go onward. Thank you, and congratulations to the classes of 2020 and 2021.
We will now begin recognizing graduates of the Jackson School of Geoscience receiving a bachelor's degree in geological sciences. We continue the tradition of presenting honor cords in the school's colors to those students who have successfully completed the undergraduate honors research program and who are therefore being recognized with the designation of Special Honors in Geological Sciences. These students completed a 4-semester program of original research, culminating in a written thesis and an oral presentation. We also recognize members of the Jackson School Scholars Program with dark green cords. We will start with the Bachelor of Arts in Geological Sciences, Cameron Marie Kerr. And we will continue with the Bachelor of Sciences in Geological Sciences, Connor Shea Brigham. Connor will be pursuing a master's degree in environmental engineering after graduation. Abby Lynn Creighton, Jackson Scholar. While at JSG, Abby's best memories are serving as president of GLOW and studying abroad in Ecuador. During the summer of 2018, she was supervised by Dr. Chris Bell. Anthony Harris Edgington, Jackson Scholar. His report was titled Age, Stratigraphic Architecture and Provenance of the Cretaceous Cerro Barcino Formation, Patagonia Broken Foreland Basin in southern Argentina. Supervisor, Dr. Chris Bell. Anthony begins master's studies this fall at the University of Connecticut as a Crandall Fellow and Graduate Research Assistant. Woo! Rosalind Elizabeth Mormon, Jackson Scholar. Supervisor, Dr. Chris Bell. Roz would like to thank her friends, Lauren and Addison, for being her rocks no pun intended, during those 4 years. She would also like to thank her family for always supporting her and encouraging her to do and be my best. Your faith in me has not gone unnoticed. Barbara Fagundes. Brittany Diane Davis. Brittany would like to thank her parents, Alex and Jordan. Matthew Robert Dean. Jake Emery Goins. Special honors. Thesis title, Fingerprint and Similarity Thresholding for Earthquake Detections, a West Texas application. Supervisor, Dr. Mark Kloos. Jake would like to thank Dr. Wansuk Kim for letting him know that it's okay to not be passionate about something right out of the gate. Heather Angela Gunn, special honors thesis title, Advancing the Moisture Amount, Paleoclimate Proxy in Central Texas Stalagmite Records through Application of Novel Imaging Techniques, a case study of growth band morphology and chemical composition across the 14.7 Ka boiling Alarod rapid deglacial warming. Dr. Nate Miller. After graduation, Heather will be attending Syracuse University in New York on a university fellowship for a PhD. She will be studying paleoclimatology with Dr. Chris Junium. Dewey Preston Henley. Dewey would like to thank his mom, Becky, dad, Henley, and his good friends Hamad, Connor, and Brandon. Barbara Vagoon Des. Barbara is obtaining her BS in geology. She will be completing her field camp this summer, and she would like to thank her family because she wouldn't be where she is today without them. Lauren Elizabeth LeBeau. Lauren's favorite part of being a JSG student is all the wonderful friends she's made and all of the field trips she got to go on, and she'll always remember the trip to Mason Mountain on the first Field Methods trip. Tyler Nelson Logie. Special honors, thesis title, Multi-Proxy Reconstruction of Marine Paleo-Environmental Shifts During Early Toarcian Climate Perturbations. Insight from the Central High Atlas Mountains, Morocco. Supervisor, Dr. Rowan Martindale. Tyler will be entering a doctoral program with the Syracuse University Earth and Environmental Sciences Department in the fall. He will be studying ocean and climate changes during ocean anoxic events. Lee Carell Mercer. After graduation, Lee will begin working full-time as an environmental consultant in Austin, Texas. Margaret Ann Murakami. Postgraduate graduation, Margaret plans to attend the University of Helsinki Atmospheric Sciences Master's Program. Luke George Murray. Luke's favorite part of being a JSG student was the community of students he's gotten to know over the last 4 years and the shared experiences they've had. Shelby Lorraine Oliphant. Shelby would like to thank her parents and grandmother for their support and help achieving her dreams. We have some ongoing complicated logistics, but we're making progress. All right. Claire Phillips Plume, special honors. Her thesis was entitled Analyzing Seasonal Variations in Hydraulic Capacitance of Trees, and her supervisor is Dr. Ashley Matheny. Claire would like to thank her faculty advisor, Dr. Ashley Matheny, for her never-ending patience and knowledge, and her parents for their support and encouragement. Seth Emmanuel Randall. As a JSG student, Seth enjoyed the sense of community, dedication, and mentorship from professors, and spending time with my friends at the geology building. Landon Travis White. Landon plans to be commissioned as an infantry officer in the U.S. Army after graduation. Lauren Lee Kruger. Lauren would like to thank her parents for giving her the greatest gift of all, an education. Hook 'em. Ireneo Sanchez Jr., special honors. Honors thesis title, Observing Longitudinal Profiles of Amphitheater-Shaped Valley Headwalls on Mars and Implications for Their Formation. Supervisor, Dr. Timothy Googe. Ireneo enjoyed and appreciated the opportunities and experiences JSG provided, like traveling to geologic landscapes throughout the country. Tarit Tangit Wanit Chakun. Special honors. Honors thesis title, Chain of Operators for Inverse Hessian Estimation in Least Squares Migration. Supervisor, Dr. Sergey Fomel. After graduation, Tarit will return to Thailand to begin a full-time job as a geophysicist at PTTEP, the Thai state-owned oil and gas company. Brooke Lauren Fry. Brooke's best JSG memory involved getting a latte from the Pangea Cafe and going up to the Walter Geology Library to study. That's when she did some of her best studying. Shane Heath will be pursuing a master's degree in natural resource management. Ileana Isabel Martinez. In fall 2021, Ileana plans to attend law school to study corporate energy and environmental law. Emma Adele Peterman. In Emma's words, being a JSG student made a large university feel much smaller. At JSG, I made many close friends and felt like I was part of a community. Addison K. Savage. After graduation, Addison will continue with the Jackson School as a graduate student, making great discoveries in hydrology and methane hydrates. We will now move to the Bachelor of Sciences in Environmental Sciences with the Geological Sciences major, Austin Thomas Arnold. After graduation, Austin plans to pursue a career in the green construction industry. Connie Mia Covarrubias. Connie would like to thank her mother for believing in her every step of the way and always celebrating her achievements. Kelsey Elaine Parker. Kelsey is a dual degree recipient of environmental sciences and government. And that completes our undergraduate graduations. Let's congratulate the candidates.
Science in Energy and Earth Resources. Taylor Henry Barnhart. Taylor would like to thank the research scientists at the Gulf Coast Carbon Center and everyone involved in the EER program who played an immense role in his graduate studies. Taylor will be joining NOAA and the National Weather Service as a hydrologist after graduation. Taylor was supervised by Dr. Susan Havorka and hooded by Richard Hukla. Mayen Chen. Mayen would like to thank everyone at JSG for their support, specifically the EER program office, her thesis supervisor, and committee. She would also like to thank her boyfriend for being with her and going through all the difficulties during the COVID-19 pandemic. She plans to work as an analyst in the energy industry to make the world understand energy better. Mayen was supervised by Dr. Bridget Scanlon and hooded by Dr. Richard Hukla. Ashton Grace Cruz. Ashton wants to thank all the EER professors as well as Dr. Young, and after graduation, Ashton plans on pursuing a career in renewable energy and working towards greener energy solutions for our society. Ashton was supervised by Drs. Carrie King and Dr. Liang Yang, and hooded by Dr. Richard Hukla. A.G. Kawai. AG would like to thank his wife and kids, his parents, his supervisor, Dr. Leibovich, his committee members, Richard and Dr. King, graduate coordinator, Jessica, all his EER friends, and his research group members in ORIE. He will be returning to Japan to work for an engineering company. AG was supervised by Dr. Benjamin Leibovich and hooded by Dr. Richard Hukla. Lauren Grace Lamb. Lauren would like to thank her Aunt Denise and Grandpop for making sure she was raised a Longhorn. After graduation, Lauren will join Milam and Green Whiskey in Blanco, Texas as a production operator, and I'd like to talk to you about a job after that. Lauren was supervised by Dr. Fred Beach and hooded by Dr. Richard Hukla. Andrew Makari Morosco. Andrew would like to thank his amazing mother and Geosciences master's degree holder, class of 1982, Susan Morosco, who is present here today. Andrew says he even found her thesis in the Walter Geology Library, which is a feat. Andrew was supervised by Dr. James Dyer and hooded by Dr. Richard Hukla. Eli Rampton. Eli wishes to thank his sweet wife, loving parents, and viewers like you. He will be continuing on to be an energy transition analyst. Vianney Rueda. Vianney gives a special thanks to Dr. Young for his guidance through the difficulty of graduate studies, and to her family who has always given her the strength to pursue her dreams, especially Mom, who gave me my wings to fly, as she says. Vianney plans to take a year off from academic studies to work in resources policy and management, and then plans to return to academia and pursue a PhD. Is Dr. Young here? He's here. Michael Young. Michael Young. After a small delay, Vianney will be hooded by her supervisor, Dr. Michael Young. He's on his way. Going. Mariela Saldivar. Mariela would like to thank her family, peers, professors, Director Hukla, and Supervisor Dr. Eaton for all the support along the way. She plans to become employed where she can apply her sustainability-focused background. Mariela was supervised by Dr. David Eaton and hooded by Dr. Richard Hukla. You are Miliana, right? Okay. Miliana Ulfa. Miliana would like to thank Dr. Suhavorka for her insightful guidance and mentorship even before starting her study at UT. She says, I have learned a whole lot from her leadership and humbleness that makes her a role model I always look up to. Miliana will continue working on research in carbon sequestration and energy transition as a Carbon Cleanup Initiative Fellow with Lawrence Livermore National Lab. We will now award the degree of Master of Science in Geological Sciences. John Daniel Franey. John would like to thank his mom and dad for their continued support throughout his life. You both have been great resources of encouragement, he says. Thanks to Tip Meckel for being an attentive advisor and to Philip Guerrero for being the best graduate coordinator. John would also like to thank David, Harry, and Jake for being true friends and excellent field partners. John's supervisor was Dr. Tip Meckel, who also did the hooding. James Hooker Guerin. Jake would like to thank Cornell Olariu for his patience, advice, and guidance, Ron Steele for his thoughtfulness, and Philip Guerrero for his friendship. He also wishes to thank his family and his girlfriend Holly for their support. This fall, Jake will begin a PhD program in sedimentology at Indiana University. Jake was supervised by Drs. Cornell Olariu and Ron Steele, and hooded by Cornell Olariu. Having some wardrobe changes. Jamie Ann Megumi Hertz. Jamie would like to thank Brian Horton, Rowan Martindale, Kurt Constanius, Mark Helper, Ann Molyneux, Ron Steele, her husband, family, and friends for their continued guidance and support. Jamie will be returning to the USGS for an internship based in Denver. Jamie was supervised by Drs. Brian Horton and Ron Steele and hooded by Dr. Rowan Martindale. Harry Lejeune Hall. Harry would like to thank his family for their continuous support throughout his career. After graduation, he will begin a full-time position with EOG Resources in Denver. Harry was supervised and is being hooded by Dr. Tip Meckel. Jasmine Renee Nelson. Jasmine said she'd like to thank Julia Clark for providing her with the skills she needs to be a better scientist, teacher, and mentor. Jasmine will be going to Colorado State to pursue a PhD in ecology after graduation. Excuse me. Jasmine was supervised by Dr. Julia Clark and hooded by Dr. Chris Bell. Fernando Matias Rey. Fernando thanks Veronica Chertkov for being by his side through all of his education, and he will be continuing in the Jackson School pursuing a PhD. Fernando was supervised and is being hooded by Dr. Cornell Olariu. Joseph Carl Sizdek. Joseph thanks his family and friends for all of their support and encouragement. After graduation, he is heading off to Hillcorp Energy Company as an intern. Joe was supervised by Dr. Chris Zom and Charlie Cairns and is hooded by Dr. Zom. Okay. David McLean Wiggs. David says, I would like to thank my family, roommates, and Philip Guerrero, in addition to my advisor and my committee, for the special roles they each played in my graduate career. After graduating, David will go on to work in San Antonio at EOG Resources. David was supervised and hooded by Dr. Peter Flemings. Eric James Goldfarb. Eric would like to thank his faculty advisor, Dr. Nicola Tisato, for the invitation to visit JSG that put him on a path to today's celebration. Eric says, I was on a magic carpet working as a ski instructor when he called me to invite me for a visit. Had he not proactively taken that step, I would have never made it here. Eric will be taking on an internship at Los Alamos National Lab after graduation. He is supervised and hooded by Dr. Nicola Tisato. Ken Ikeda. Ken would like to say thank you to Nicola Tisato and Kyle Spikes, my family, and the fourth floor geophysics people. Ken's next step after graduation will be with C3 AI as a data scientist. Ken was supervised and hooded by Dr. Nicola Tisato. Dominic Alexander Cardell. Dominic wishes to thank his PhD advisor, Gail Christensen, and his family and friends. Dom will be working as a geophysicist at ExxonMobil after graduation. Dom is being hooded and supervised by Dr. Gail Christensen and is co-supervised by Dr. Sean Gulick. Patrick Kevin Mazel II. Kevin would like to thank his family for all of their support during his education and to his supervisor, Dr. Peter Flemings. He was supervised by Dr. Peter Flemings, who is also hooding him. Junwen Peng. Junwen wants to thank his family, his supervisors, Dr. Qilong Fu and Xavier Jansen, and all of his committee members. Junwen will be returning to a position at the China University of Petroleum in Beijing. He is hooded by Dr. Tim Shanahan. Son Dong Tai Fan. Son thanks his supervisor, Mernal Sen, for the full support and wonderful guidance toward his degree. Son will be going back into industry as a hybrid geophysicist and data scientist. His supervisor, Dr. Mernal Sen, will be hooding him. Natasha Pietrunia. Natasha says, I would like to say thank you to an amazing support group in my life, from my family and friends to my advisor who made sure I got here. Natasha is going on to become a lifelong educator who inspires the next generation of kids to fall in love with earth scientists. She is being hooded by her supervisor, Dr. Timothy Shanahan. Simon George Scarpetta. Simon says, I would like to thank Chris Bell, David Ledesma, my family, Lily Sirach, and Donna the dog, and the JSG Hall of Fame. Simon is next headed off to be an NSF postdoc fellow in biology at Cal Berkeley. Simon is hooded by his supervisor, Dr. Chris Bell. Lily Rose Sirach. Lily wishes to thank her advisor, Dan Brinker, her partner, roommate, work-from-home coworker, Simon Scarpetta, friends, family, and most importantly, her dog, Donna, who's gotten more credit today than anybody. And Lily says after graduation, she will leave academia and start to make real money at a tech company. She is hooded by her supervisor, Dr. Dan Brinker. Brandon Douglas Shuck. Brandon says, I am incredibly thankful to my advisors, Harm and Sean, my partner, Irini, and fur babies, Ziggy, Lillian, and Moho and my family and friends. Brandon is moving on to join Lamont Doherty Earth Observatory at Columbia as a postdoctoral research scientist. He is being hooded by one of his supervisors, Harm Van Albendock. Andrew Cleveland Gase. Andrew says he'd like to thank his wife, Jessie. You don't get on the stand. Go around front. Andrew says he'd like to thank his wife, Jessie, his advisors, Harm and Nathan, and his office mates, Brandon and Kelly. Andrew will continue his scientific work as a postdoctoral researcher. Shijun Sun. Shijun thanks his wife Xiao, advisor Tim, and all other co-workers. He will join the National Center for Atmospheric Research in Boulder, Colorado as an ASP postdoctoral fellow. He's being hooded by Dr. Tim Shanahan. Evan Joseph Ramos. Evan says he is indebted to his friends in Austin who have grown beside him and with whom he has forged indelible bonds during grad school, and to his parents and siblings who have unconditionally loved and supported him throughout his schooling. He will be following a Jackson School tradition and moving to Houston, where he will undertake a postdoctoral research fellowship at Rice University. That concludes awarding of all graduate degrees.
This concludes the awarding of degrees to the Jackson School's Class of 2021. Congratulations to all of you. To our graduates, from this day forward, you will be the school's ambassadors. We are delighted to have you carry forth the reputation of our school into the world. Please carry that reputation with pride. Your abilities, opportunities, and connections to the world around you have grown perceptibly each year that you have worked toward your degree. The same intelligence, determination, and commitment that brought you to this point, combined with the perspective that you have gained, will guide your future. That fact never changes. The success of past Jackson School graduates tells us that your potential is truly enormous. The Jackson School focuses on issues of enduring and compelling interest to society, and I doubt there will ever be a time in which water, energy, natural hazards, environmental sciences, and understanding the earth on which we live will not be of the utmost importance to people. You will also have an advantage because your degree is recognized globally as coming from a premier program in the Geosciences. Your degree is an entree that enables you to work all over the world. This legacy is neither a gift to you nor an entitlement. It occurs because your family, your faculty, and above all, you are vested in your success. It occurs because when you meet other graduates of this program, no matter what their year, you will find an instant and common bond. Thank you for the privilege of this very close association with you. It's been and will continue to be our pleasure. Congratulations. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we conclude our ceremony.